PeopleSoft FSCM Image 32 is the second image to utilize two PeopleTools features delivered in PeopleTools 857, configuring drop zones and personalizing grids for selected FSCM fluid pages. Drop zones enable you to add editable or display-only transaction fields to existing PeopleSoft fluid pages. This eliminates the need to customize delivered objects. Use the Configure Drop Zones page and search for the component ID. FSCM Application Fundamentals documentation lists the enabled components for drop zones. All page IDs that are drop zone enabled for that component are listed. For fluid grids, use the Download to Excel All button to load grid data to an Excel spreadsheet. Use the Find All button to search for data in any available grid column. Use the Sort All button to sort on column headers. This completes our demonstration of the FSCM uptake of PeopleTools 857 fluid features, drop zones, and grids. Under Enterprise Components, FSCM Update Image 32 enhances the page and field configurator to allow customers to make a particular sequence active or inactive. New functionality also increases the number of fields available for configuration to include those on secondary pages. Additional enhancements include new functionality to the user list criteria, providing multiple roles and the ability to exclude one or more roles from a configuration change. This completes our discussion of Page and Field Configurator Enhancements. In FSCM Update Image 32, Enterprise Components enhances the WorkCenter framework, allowing customers to determine and control how a WorkCenter is displayed. Using the WorkCenter dashboard page, an administrator can determine whether a WorkCenter grouplet appears by default as collapsed or expanded. Using the My Work page, users who have personalization rights for their WorkCenter can also determine whether their grouplets are expanded or collapsed. Using the Queries page, WorkCenter pagelets can be configured to display the Query Manager Viewer link. When viewing a list in the WorkCenter, users can select or deselect all rows before taking an action. This completes our discussion of the WorkCenter Framework Customer Enhancement. Fluid users can now modify the supplier payment address while creating or updating payment request transactions. Use the Edit icon to modify the supplier payment address. Use the Select Payment Address page to select a different supplier payment address listed on this page. The payment request transaction is updated with the change. This completes our discussion of the Add Remit to Address in Payment Request feature. In Image 32, PeopleSoft introduces related actions with drop-down options for Fluid Treasury My Work content. You can now finalize selected accounting entries in a provisional state and generate corresponding journals. Journals are generated by automatically invoking the Journal Generator process, which is run in the background, and the entries are posted to General Ledger. This completes our discussion of the Treasury Fluid WorkCenter Integration to General Ledger feature. PeopleSoft Expenses enhances the expense report feature by adding a GPS mileage calculator to automatically calculate mileage distance. The system calculates the distance between a start and end point for mileage reimbursements. When configured, the distance calculator is displayed on both the Fluid Expense Report and the Fluid My Wallet page. The GPS mileage calculator is an optional feature. To use this feature, navigate to the Expense Definition Business Unit 2 page to select the Display Distance Calculator checkbox. Use the Require Comments to Override checkbox to indicate that users must enter a comment if they entered a distance that differs from the calculated distance. On the expense entry page, enter automobile mileage in the expense type field and press the Tab key. Additional fields appear on the expense entry page. Enter your starting point and ending point for your trip and select the Calculate Distance button. The Miles Calculated field displays the distance for your trip as calculated by the GPS calculator. Use the Miles field to override the calculated distance if necessary, and a comment in the Exceptions comment section to explain why you are changing the distance. Use the Display Map link to view a map. The Map and Route page appear, displaying the start and end points of your trip, as well as detailed instructions on the left. This completes our demonstration of the GPS Mileage Calculator feature. PeopleSoft Expenses enhances the expense report feature by allowing you to edit the expense type for entries populated from My Wallet. Use the Expense Definition page and select the Allow Changes to Expense Type checkbox to utilize this optional feature. Use the Require a Reason Code checkbox to indicate that a reason code is required when an edit is made to an expense type. Import a wallet entry into your expense report. After you import a wallet entry and create an expense detail row, you may notice that the expense type is incorrect. This enhancement allows you to change the expense type from the expense entry page. If required, provide an appropriate reason code for the change in the pop-up window. This new flexibility saves you from additional steps to correct expense type categories originating from My Wallet or from having to categorize your expenses with a more appropriate or detailed expense type for your charges. This completes our demonstration of the Edit Expense Type for My Wallet Entries feature. The project costing compression process enables you to compress large amounts of project costing transactional data. In Update Image 32, PeopleSoft provides organizations increased visibility into the existing compression process through a new user interface. The Project Data Compression tile displays the number of projects that are eligible for compression and the number of uncompressed transactions in the Project Resource table. Use the Fluid Project Data Compression tile to view a detailed list of projects eligible for compression by business unit. To consider a project for compression, the project should have a project status with the Eligible for Compression option selected. Although the processing status can be active or inactive, Oracle recommends compressing only those projects with the processing status of inactive. After project administrators have identified their projects for compression, a functional superuser performs a final review using the Projects Ready for Compression pagelet in the Project's WorkCenter. Select Simulate Compression for the estimated number of rows after compression. The estimate is based on the default compression template for your organization, but can be updated. The estimate helps the functional superuser anticipate the reduction in transactional rows before the process is run. Select the Mark for Compression option for projects individually or en masse and select Save. The PC Compression Superuser role is added to the Installation Options page. After the list of projects for compression is approved on the WorkCenter, the PC Compression Superuser schedules the compression process to run. Other users should update their project status and perform a final review of the projects for compression. However, only individuals with the PC Compression Superuser role can run the compression process from the WorkCenter. The PC Compression Superuser runs the compression process from the Project Costing WorkCenter. The process can be scheduled to run en masse during a maintenance window or on an ad hoc basis. The new Project Costing compression functionality provides improved transparency to the existing compression process. It also provides a segregation of responsibilities between functional users and the administrative staff responsible for scheduling the compression process. This completes our discussion of data compression enhancements. PeopleSoft Purchasing enhances the procurement operations homepage with the new Payment Spend Analysis tile. Use the Payment Spend Analysis page to track and analyze paid and expense spend amounts. You can easily narrow the results by selecting a predefined date of 30, 60, or 90 days, or you can enter a custom date range. You can analyze payments using various facets such as supplier, business unit, purchase order spend versus non-purchase order spend, and so forth. This completes our discussion of the Analyze Payment Spend feature. Scorecarding defaults is enhanced with new supplier selection and traceback options for supplier scorecard analytics. The new supplier selection days field enables you to enter the default number of days that help determine the first 5 suppliers in supplier scorecard analytics. The system determines the first 5 suppliers based on the date range provided, evaluation score, and supplier selection option. For example, if you enter 90 for this field and the most recently posted evaluation is from May 12, 2018, the system uses the date range February 11, 2018 through May 12, 2018. The new supplier selection option enables you to set a default for the supplier selection prompt within Supplier Scorecard Analytics. The supplier selection option helps filter evaluation data by highest scores, lowest scores, trending higher, and so forth. This field works together with the supplier selection days field. The new traceback days field enables you to enter a default number of days to capture supplier evaluation results for supplier scorecard analytics. For example, if you enter 365 and the most recent evaluation is from May 12, 2018, the system displays evaluation data from May 12, 2017 to May 12, 2018. This completes our discussion of the default options for Scorecard Analytic Tile Results Enhancement. In FSCM Image 32, Supplier Scorecard provides additional copy options when creating and releasing evaluations, such as one-to-many and next period. The one-to-many copy option allows an evaluation owner to copy an existing evaluation when creating evaluations for multiple suppliers. When creating evaluations, at least one supplier must be selected. The Evaluator View button displays the preview of the source evaluation form. The evaluation owner can modify the evaluation names, due dates, and descriptions prior to creating and releasing the evaluations. After creating the required target evaluations, the evaluation owner can proceed to create and release evaluations. Use the next period copy option when an evaluation owner needs to evaluate suppliers on a regular schedule while using the same template and the same set of evaluators. The evaluation owner can copy source evaluations for a specific calendar period and create a new set of evaluations for the same supplier for the next evaluation period. The evaluation owner can modify the evaluation names, due dates, and descriptions prior to creating and releasing the evaluations. This completes our discussion of the Copy Supplier Evaluation and Masse feature. In Update Image 32, evaluators can reopen a previously submitted evaluation, perhaps to revise question responses or comments, and then resubmit the evaluation. The evaluation must be in a status of submitted or omitted to be reopened, and the overall evaluation must still be in a release status and not past its due date. After the evaluation is reopened, its status is changed to in process. The original question responses and comments continue to exist. The Reopen Evaluation Reason page displays only if the Reopen Evaluation Reason option is set to mandatory or optional. If not, then a reopen confirmation message is displayed with a yes or no option. This completes our discussion of the Reopen Submitted Evaluations feature. PeopleSoft Purchasing enhances the supplier performance pagelet within the supplier watchlist page. Use the new Display Supplier Performance in Modal window icon to display a full-sized version of the pagelet within a modal window. In the full-sized version of the supplier performance page, you can access evaluation details including status summary score trend and results summary charts. The page displays the most recently posted evaluation for the selected supplier. You can select any data point in the status summary score trend to update the results summary information with evaluation data specific to that data point. This completes our discussion of the Provide Full Page version of Supplier Performance Tile Enhancement. In FSCM Image 32, Supplier Contract Management enhances fluid approvals to display business documents in PDF format. Approvers can now access and review the PDF documents on smartphones and tablets. The View Document link downloads and opens the document in PDF format. Approvers can review the document before they approve or deny it. This completes our discussion of the View Document in Supplier Contracts Fluid Approval Pages feature. PeopleSoft Image 32 includes Payables uptake of the Run Control framework. PeopleSoft Payables enhances Run Control processes, so you can now perform a mass update of Run Control parameters. Use the Run Control Date Update page to define a Run Control update task. Then, use the Update Target Field Values page to change specific fields for all run controls associated with the task. This completes our discussion of the Update Run Control As of Date feature. The PeopleSoft Asset Management Disposal Worksheet allows retirements by disposal code and partial asset retirements. If the Retirements by Disposal Code option is selected on the Asset Management Business Unit Book Definition page, the Set All button defaults the transaction code values associated with the disposal code selected. Transaction codes can be updated for individual assets as needed. The Retirement Information tab has two new fields, Adjust Retire Quantity By and Adjust Retire Amount By, which enable partial asset disposals. You can enter the retire quantity or retire amount to allow the system to calculate the partial retirement by asset cost. This completes our discussion of Disposal Worksheet Enhancements. In this image, PeopleSoft enhances lease administration to add exempt leases, such as short-term leases. Use the Exempt from Recognition option on the Create New Lease, Add a New Value page to add an exempt lease. Exempt leases are non-capitalized leases. In addition, a new step is available in the Data Migration Activity Guide to identify leases that are exempt from capitalization. The final section of the Activity Guide completes the transition to the new GASB 87 accounting guidance. You transition leases to the new accounting guidance by capitalizing your operating leases and generating the corresponding straight-line schedules for those leases. This completes our discussion of the Accounting for Lease Exceptions enhancement. PeopleSoft Payables enhances the Voucher maintenance feature so that users can now add or edit comments to vouchers. This completes our discussion of the Add Comments in Voucher Maintenance enhancement. In Image 32, PeopleSoft users can update the billing authority, billing specialist, or collector field for multiple invoices and Masse. The Search Value option lists the set of data associated with the option selected in the invoice field. If you leave the Search Value field blank, the system looks for invoices that have a blank value for the selected invoice field. use the Change Value field to enter the replacement value for the selected invoices. Click Replace to apply the changes. The Invoice field is updated for the selected invoices, and a confirmation message displays. This completes our demonstration of the Update Billing Fields and Masse feature. In Image 32, PeopleSoft allows users to remit payment for all customers in the specified customer hierarchy tree or corporate hierarchy tree of a particular customer reference. This completes our discussion of the Improve Receivables Payment Predictor Hit Rate feature. In Image 32, users can copy an existing deal by updating some of the data elements with the required new values. The data elements are based on the instrument type of the original deal. At the bottom of the Deal Detail page, use the Deal Copy button to view the Deal Copy Details page. The Deal Copy Details secondary page displays fields based on the instrument type of the original deal. This completes our discussion of the Deal Copy feature. The Supplier Profile Question feature now includes a new profile question report and a warning option related to the supplier master. The Profile Questions report lets you search for suppliers with missing responses to profile questions or with specific responses. The Profile Question Selection field enables you to search for all required questions with no response, specific questions with no response, and specific questions with response. You can use the Create Invitation option and fields in the Manage Invitations group box to send an update request email to suppliers. The email requests that suppliers update their profile with missing responses. In addition, this enhancement provides a new warning option that displays a warning on the supplier master whenever you save a record that has a required profile question without a value. This completes our discussion of the Required Profile Questions feature. PeopleSoft Purchasing enhances the dispatch purchase order process with a new option to include closed purchase order lines on the dispatched purchase order. There are also improvements to the dispatch purchase order by email process. When dispatching purchase orders, you can select the Print Closed Line Amount option to display closed lines in the dispatched purchase order. This option also incorporates closed line amounts into the purchase order total amount. This feature is available on all dispatch purchase order pages and within the purchase order using the Online Dispatch Options page. In addition, this enhancement displays the recipient email and buyer information on the PO Dispatched History page, and the buyer's email address displays on the dispatched purchase order. This completes our discussion of the Streamline Purchase Order Dispatch Errors and Processing Enhancement. In FSCM Image 32, Supplier Contract Management enhances digital signature API integration capabilities of DocuSign. You can now embed attachments related to contract documents. Supporting documentation is often required by signers along with the physical contract documents they receive for signatures. These attachments and the physical contract document are now accessible through DocuSign. Contract documents and other attachments with file formats that DocuSign supports can be uploaded and sent for the signer's review. The documents provide a comprehensive picture of the contract. The selected files are emailed to the signer along with the contract document. The signer can assess the contract document and additional documents using the hyperlink in the generated email. After reviewing the attached details, use an available authentication method to sign the contract document. This completes our discussion of the Embed Attachments when using DocuSign feature. Additional features also added to FSCM Image 32 include Lease activation and Masse, e-invoice for Europe, enhancements for European Union legislation, U.S. Federal Secure Payment System Same-Day ACH payments, Federal Data Act File C requirements, and Japanese Imperial Date format change. We've only shown you the highlights of the features in this PeopleSoft Update Image. For more information about these features and the other enhancements, see the CFO tool, the Update Image overview on My Oracle Support, and go to the PeopleSoft Information Portal for updates.